everybody, this is Sean Riley with Riley Real Estate and MassHomesale.com with this week's Q&A Saturday video. This week we're going to talk about how can I sell a house with pets. So this is a unique challenge for people who are trying to sell their house. Pets can be wonderful companions and great additions to your family. But not everybody likes them, and even people who do like animals don't necessarily like your animals. So this can definitely be an issue whenever somebody is trying to sell a house where pets are currently living. So the main issues come around, excuse me, first is if the pets are in the house when people are trying to look at it, that can be a problem. People might be scared or just nervous around the animals. The animals might be nervous around the people, so even if they are very nice, well-trained animals, they might react differently when you're not in the house. And then there's obviously the issue around cleanliness in both, pet hair and dander around, as well as potential smells and odors. So first thing I have to figure out is what to do if you have pets. So the most clean-cut example is to get rid of the pets. That doesn't necessarily mean getting rid of them as in, goodbye, we're never going to see you again. But it could be if you have a friend or family who's willing to let your animal stay with them during the duration of when you're trying to sell your house. That certainly is the easiest way to get them to avoid all these different issues. Now, obviously, most people have pets because they love them and they want to be around them, so that's not necessarily something you want to do, and you obviously also might not have the option. You might not have somebody who can do this. So if that's not an option, the next one is basically to be as clean as possible. So first thing you need to do is you need to remove any overt pet things, so toys, structures, like if you have something for your cats to climb on. You want to put away any kind of food and water bowls when they're not using them. Put away litter boxes. If you have like pee-pee pads for dogs, you definitely don't want to have those out. And if at all possible, have the animals not in the home when there's going to be a showing, if you can arrange that. The shorter term thing obviously might be a little bit easier, or you can just take the pets with you if you know there's going to be a showing. And then cleaning. Really have to clean a lot. Again, maybe you don't really mind having, your pet hair on the couch or on the rugs or just sort of around, but that will not look good and bother people. It's, especially people, there's really not going to be much you can do. If somebody comes in with an allergy, they're going to be done. It's really hard to get away, if it's a strong allergy, to get rid of everything to the point where it won't bother them. But for people who don't have that, just for cleanliness sake, you want to vacuum. So first you want to do a real deep clean up everything really well. You want to do this generally when you're going to be showing a house anyway, but do a real deep clean, try to neutralize any potential odors, get rid of any stains, and get rid of any of the hair and dander that might be around. And then to keep it up, you probably need to vacuum every single day, probably twice a day, if you have a breed that is a little more likely to shed. And you just got to keep that up continuously throughout the home selling process. So these tips are if you have, it's more of a typical kind of pet or number of pets. So, if you have one or two or just a few, like cats and dogs, like these kind of things, you can work those out. Now, if you have more exotic pets like rodents, birds, insects, reptiles, those are going to be a little more challenging with both the various, shedding, smells, whatnot, but also having it in the house. Most people, obviously there are people who don't like certain things, but dogs and cats are at least enough in the world that people aren't necessarily bothered by them, as long as they're not nervous that they're gonna attack them or something. Lizards, snakes, large insects, stuff like that. People are a little more squeamish about it, and they're probably going to be very turned off if those are in the house when they are. So that's a bigger problem. The other thing is even if you just have things like dogs and cats, but if you have a lot of them, so if you have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 animals, it's, the tips that we talked about before are going to be a lot harder, because obviously you have a lot of things there. It's hard to get them all out of the house, obviously. It is hard to continuously clean so there's just no smells and there's no hair anywhere. So it's going to be a lot harder, and in those situations, you might just have to accept the fact that it's going to be harder to sell your house, and there's a good chance you're going to get lower offers, because people who don't have that number of animals, even if they have a dog or a cat or one of each or something like that, if they see you have like I said, a dozen animals or something like that, they're gonna, like I said, it's gonna smell, and there's gonna be stuff all over the place, and people are gonna assume they probably need to do a significant cleaning before they move in to get rid of all of the hair and the smells and all that kind of stuff, and they might, they're likely to offer you less because of it, if they make an offer at all. So, certainly can sell house with pets. Like I said, I don't currently have any pets, but I do like animals, and I understand why people have pets, and I think they can be great, as I said before. But it is definitely something that makes selling your home a lot harder. So try following some of the tips that we outlined here to make the process a little easier. Also, if you don't want to deal with those kind of hassles, and you have things that you don't think are going to be easily fixed, so, say you have, big one is cat urine. If you have, floors that have been peed on by your cat, and it's really hard to get the smell out, and, you can't do anything about it, those type of things, if you have those issues and you're worried about being able to sell it, looking at an investor could be a good option for you. So we don't mind pet issues. If there are smells that you can't get rid of easily, then you have to go a little bit more extreme. Take up the flooring, remove some of the sheetrock from the wall, use some high-intensity cleaning methods, whatever. But we know how to do it. We are willing to do it. If you have a house with pets, especially houses that have larger pet issues, give us a call. Hopefully we can help. You can always get in touch with us on the website. So anyway, hope that helps you think of strategies if you're trying to sell your house with pets. And until next week, as always, if you have questions that you would like to see answered, you can leave it in the comments below, fill out a form on the website, put it on our Facebook page, our Twitter account, or send an email to info@masshomesale.com. And have a great week, everybody. All right, thanks. Bye.